You've just had an absolutely amazing hockey career up to this point. I know you played, for a little bit there with the Norwood Nuggets, and you did the Learn to Skate over at Ponkapog. What kind of memories do you have of the Norwood Nugget hockey program?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's where it all kind of started for me, And I remember when I was probably 5 years old, I started playing instructional hockey over at the pond, and Rob Lampron was my first coach. I was a mite, and I kind of made a lot of relationships through hockey, and I was down there. And a lot of my favorite memories from hockey began when I was playing for Norwood when I was a kid. So, those are great experiences, and it feels like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing, again, to kind of watch you play. Actually, I kind of have a slight connection to you when you were just a little kid. I first met you when you were playing the instructional soccer down on those lower fields, and even back then I said, "Boy, this kid's a pretty good little athlete." And so in 8th grade you head over to St. Seb's and start for the varsity over there, which is an amazing accomplishment just to begin with. Noah, when did you think you kind of had to you realize that maybe you'd be taking your game to the hockey game to the next level?
Yeah, I would probably say, that year, in the 8th grade, that was kind of like the first real challenge I ever had playing hockey. I was playing against kids who were a lot older than me, and I was playing against some pretty good players, and, I found a way to continue to get better and perform. And I think at that age, I talked to my dad and my mom, and we were all kind of like, all right, like, this is something I want to pursue, and, I love this sport, and I think I definitely could potentially have a future in it. So I would say around then, and just built from there. And obviously, I went to the U.S. national program a few years later, and it kind of all fell into place. But I would say, around that 8th grade year is when it started.
Right, because I was just thinking about it. An 8th grader, playing with seniors in high school, that's such an age difference. And I got to believe, your ability to keep up with those guys and probably learn from a lot of older kids really had to help. The whole notion of then being able to kind of go out to Michigan and then wind up playing, the World Juniors and the IAHF. I mean, you have been to some just amazing places in the world to play this game. And what has that been like?
Yeah, it's been great. I think when I left St. Seb's to go to the national program, it was a big decision, and obviously I was really close to my coach and all my friends at St. Sebastian's, but we felt it was a move that was necessary, and I got to play overseas, about 8 times, and play against international competition, and represent the United States, and those are memories I'll never forget, and I think it really helped me in my development of my career, and it got me ready for college. But I think anytime you get to wear the red, white, and blue and represent your country, it's a great honor, and I was fortunate to be able to do that quite a few times.
Yeah. I mean, again, back here we essentially follow your career here in Norwood. So no matter where you're playing, we'll find it on the NHL Network. But just to be able to see you put that USA jersey on, again, for a lot of us that enjoy the sport of hockey and then have this Norwood connection, it was just such a thrill for us. And I can imagine being able to play over in Russia and Finland against some of the world's best was unbelievable. You mentioned then that you come back and you're ready to play some college hockey. Now, I'm a BU fan, so needless to say, it was a little disappointing. But first of all, why BC? What was it about BC that drew you to that program as opposed to down Com Ave to the BU team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a tough decision. I committed when I think I was 14, so I committed at a pretty young age. But I think there was just something about the feel, over at BC that I was really drawn to, and I met with Jerry York and just the tradition there. And my grandfather went to BC, so he would have been pretty mad with me if I went to BU. But I don't know. I knew quite a few players that were playing at BC when I had committed, like the Kevin Hayes, Jimmy Hayes, Gaudreau. I knew a few of those kids, so I don't know. I just had a lot of connections there, and I felt really at home and comfortable, around the BC campus. And I was there a pretty short period of time, but it was such a great experience, and I felt that I got a lot better, and it really prepared me for the next level. And playing for Jerry York was always a dream of mine, and it was a great experience.
Well, it was funny while you were talking there just a few minutes ago. Mike has been pulling a bunch of clips for us, and one of them was the game at BU. And I remember I was there that night, and I was actually where I was sitting. Your dad and your family were in the box behind us, and we're kind of giving each other good-natured razzing because I'm again a Terrier fan. And not only did you win that night, but you also scored. So I was actually coaching your brother on the midgets and the bantams, threatening to bench him if you scored, but you were still able to pull it off.
Yeah.
That
was a good game. I wish we got to play BU a few more times, maybe play in the NCAA tournament or whatnot. But no, it's always a lot of fun playing against BU.
Yeah, it's such a good rivalry. It's such a great time.
Great.
Noah, at some point you've got to start hearing others talk about playing in the NHL, and obviously the culmination of all of your hard work. When do you start thinking that this is a realistic chance here? I mean, is it while you're doing the World Juniors, or is it as you kind of get into the college level? When did you really think, hey, I've got a really good shot here at the NHL?
I think kind of my whole life. I think once I really tried pursuing the game, I think I always had in my head that if I'm gonna pursue this, I'm gonna go after it, and I'm gonna sacrifice everything I have to make it someday. And that was what I did. And I moved away from home. When I was 16, when I was a really young kid, and
that's tough.
And just really worked hard. And the game of hockey, it's tough. You got a lot of guys that you play with over the years that are really good players, but they just don't quite make it at the very last, level, and it gets harder and harder as you get better. And even when you're here, it's harder to stay in the NHL than it is to get here. So there's always competition, there's always people pushing you, and you just got to always find ways to get better and improve and stay positive. And that's kind of what it's always been like for me my whole life.
Yeah, well, so sometimes the way to get to my house, we got to kind of cut through, and we cut right past your house, and the net's still out there. And I remember, I'd sometimes go by with my sons. I go, Noah would be out there shooting quite a bit. I've got a hockey net at my house, and for some reason it just doesn't get used. So quite as much as I'm sure you used yours.
Yeah. My mom, my neighbors, I don't think like me too much, and I broke my mom's fence that she would repair every year, and I fixed some of my neighbors' windows. So, they're a little bothered by that, I think, but no, it's great. It's always been a passion of mine, and I got to thank obviously my parents and my family members. They're always there, taking me to the rink early in the morning and driving me to practice. When I was 6 playing for Norwood, so it's been a long journey, but there's a lot of people that have helped me get to where I am, and it's huge for me.
Speaking of your family, we then kind of fast forward to 2015, and you're sitting there at draft night, and again, here in Norwood, I think every channel was tuned to the NHL Network to watch the draft. That's an incredible class that you're in there with in 2015 with McDavid and Eichel. Did you have a sense going in that where you might land there in the top five?
Yeah, I had an idea. I knew it was going to be probably around 4 to 6 in that area. I didn't really know who was going to take me or where I was going to go exactly, but I had an idea I was going to be in that area. And I had some really good interviews with Carolina, and fortunately they called my name, and it's been a great experience. And I was very happy to be picked by them. And we're an organization. I think there's a bright future, and there's a lot of young guys on our team. And I was happy to kind of be brought into a team that was looking to rebuild and get better.
Yeah, again, it's kind of interesting, and we get a chance to see you at least a couple times when you play the Spoke Bees. But what was it like that first time? I mean, now you have worked again since you were just a little kid, and you're still you're still a little kid. You're still quite young. But what was that first time stepping onto that NHL surface for your first regular season game? What was that like?
Yeah, there was a lot of goosebumps, a lot of nerves. It was an incredible feeling. It was in Nashville. My first game was in Nashville, which is a great rink to play in. It's really loud, and it's a great atmosphere, and, my family got to come down and watch it. And, yeah, I think it's something I'll never forget. Just being out there, and this is something you've literally dreamt about since you've been a little kid, and you've always visualized it happening. And then once you're really out there and you're watching it all take place, it kind of feels somewhat surreal. It's a weird feeling, but, something I'll never forget. And it's it's been a lot of hard work and a lot of years, trying to get ready for that moment and playing in the NHL. And when it was there, it was great. So, but like I said, it's harder to stay here than it is to get there. So you got to always keep working hard and getting better.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure to watch you play. I think back just real quick to your shootout winner a couple years ago against the Bruins at the Garden. That had to be just not only be playing there in Boston against the Bruins, which I'm sure as a Massachusetts guy you grow up idolizing, but then to win it in a shootout had to be something else.
Yeah.
Quite a moment. I know you guys are a few points out of that wild card. I know you got, what, about 12 games left in the season, a few points to make up. What are your thoughts here on being able to kind of leapfrog there to that last position?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. Obviously, we had a really tough loss against Boston a few nights ago. That was a big game for us, and it was a tough loss.
Yep.
So it's going to be tough, but I think you should take it game by game. We're playing Philly Saturday, and all we can control is the outcome of each game we play, and hopefully we win as many games as we can in the last 12, and we'll see what happens. But it's obviously going to be tough, but we just got to focus on each day against our rankings and getting better and getting ready for the last 4 games and hopefully pull out some wins.
Well, we'll be watching as we always do down here. Up here in Norwood. Noah, I appreciate you taking the time tonight out of your busy schedule. Just one last thing. We still play old man hockey over at Batchco at Hyde Park at 9 o'clock. So if you're ever bored, feel like coming by, you can see if you can keep up with us.
Yeah, if I need some extra ice, I'll come by.
I'm sure that's exactly what you'd like to do. Noah Hanifin, really appreciate coming down and speaking with us tonight. Congratulations on everything thus far. It's just a real pleasure to follow your career, and best of luck as you guys head towards the postseason.
No, I appreciate that so much, and thank you. It's always great talking to you guys. So we'll be in touch.
All right, yeah. Swing by this summer. We'll talk to you this summer.
For sure.
All right, take care, Noah.
Guys. All right, we'll see you. Bye-bye.
Noah Hanifin from the Carolina Hurricanes joining us tonight.